caused a lot of trouble. You need to show your utmost sincerity. And no, I really can't argue against you, Kyo-ba-san. I really must thank you both this time. Here's a small gift, even if it's not much. The elderly lady and the boss seemed to know each other. At the same time as he was offering his thanks, the boss actually gave them a cask of alcohol and a huge sack of rice. Please accept these. These gifts given out of gratitude were originally for the winner, and they were not on the scale of small gift, and there was no way they could simply accept these. But the good thing was they were planning to get alcohol and they could sell the rice for some money. Reaching the idea that this could be a method to be able to buy herbs and muslin, this kind of weight was nothing. The two of them split up the load and carried the gifts. However, Kano was obviously having an easy time while Aoi was falling behind. This time Kano was taking the lead again. The place where they were walking towards was similarly away from the butterfly estate. What is going on in her head? Aoi thought suspiciously. Right, I haven't thanked her yet. I have to at least say a word of thanks. Then Aoi suddenly realized whether at the incident with the sound pillar or what happened just now, that wrestler could be saved exactly because Kano responded to Aoi's request and swiftly took action. She could not have handled it on her own. About just now, Kano. Aoi called out to the back of the one carrying the sack of rice. Kano stopped walking and turned around. That is. Kano looked straight at Aoi's direction and waited for her to continue talking, even though Aoi knows that she had to say it. But when it came to the time when she really had to give her thanks, she became especially embarrassed. Just as Aoi was pondering upon the most appropriate way to say her thanks, an angry roar which shocked their ears came over. You whore, if you want to kill me then do it. I'll do it even if you don't tell me, you useless bum. Aoi became stiff. Afterwards there was the sound of something shattering as well as the crying voice of a child. Well, what happened? Just as Aoi was looking around frantically, Kano swiftly reached her hand out to the air and pointed at the house that was located in the back alley behind a framing shop. The sound came from there was what Kano probably meant. Walking into the narrow alley, they could see a courtyard that was about 9 feet wide. It was a so-called partition house. One of its sliding doors was opened halfway and there were shattered rice bowls and teacups scattered outside the house. Aoi swallowed her saliva. Tian, Google this term unkunk. It's a Japanese traditional terraced house. Excuse me, sorry for intruding. Are you all right? At the same time she opened her mouth to ask, a tall and skinny man ran out of the door, knocking into objects at the same time, and a woman who was carrying a baby on her back chased after him. Aoi became startled after noticing the object that the woman held in her hand. The woman was holding a thick chopper which gleamed slightly. The crying voice of a child came from the dimly lit interior of the house. I can't tolerate this anymore. I must use this knife to kill you today, you scum. If you have the guts to do it, then do it, you fatty hag. What did you say? I dare you to say it again. Fine, I can say it as many times as you want. You hog. Hearing her husband's verbal abuse, the woman was furious and she reached out her strong arms and grabbed the man's collar. As the man could not help but let out a yelp, Aoi, who was just standing on the spot, flabbergasted, came back to her senses. Please stop, he might really die. Don't stop me. This doesn't have anything to do with you, doesn't it? Even though the woman was angrily glaring at Aoi, the latter did not cower. After pushing the two apart, Aoi asked, what are you angry about? This useless bum took all his earnings and used them on gambling and booze. The rice bucket is empty. We don't have savings. If this goes on, our family is going to starve to death. The wife let out a stream of words in one breath, then she released her husband. She then squatted on the ground and started crying. The wailing that came out of her dry lips almost sounded like the roar of a beast. Mitsu. A worried expression slipped out on the husband's face. So sorry, forgive me, it's my fault. The husband knelt down and kowtowed. Then a boy walked out of the terraced house while holding hands with a girl. The ages of the two looked to be about 7 years and 5 years respectively. Oka-san, don't cry, I'll work hard. The strong will and gentle demeanor of the boy overlapped with a certain demon slayer. So don't cry. When I grow up I will work hard and become an amazing person so Oka-san and everyone else can live in with full stomachs. Hearing such a commendable declaration from the boy, Aoi stealthily shot a look at Kano. However, Kano did not seem to realize it and she watched with smiling eyes at the family that were crying together. Her gaze seemed to be looking at something that was out of her reach, something that she could never hand ever again. Kano, Aoi softly called her. Hearing the words rice, did Kano finally understand Aoi's intentions? She lightly nodded her head and put the weighty rice sack on the ground. If you don't mind, please take this. Hearing Aoi's words, the couple raised their heads in surprise. You both probably can last a while longer with this rice. Also, the rice can be sold for money. Rally? Miss, are you really saying that? But we can't receive these for nothing. Please promise me that you will not use the money you get from selling the rice for drinking or gambling. Yes, yes, of course. The husband prostrated himself and promised them, I will change my ways, start anew. I will not let my wife or children suffer. Then we'll be going. Aoi nodded her head and quickly turned around. Just as she was about to leave the alley, you and I are complete strangers. Why are you helping us so much? The wife called out and asked. Aoi hesitated a bit as she did not know her to reply her. She just wanted to help the boy who cared about his parents and the mother who, despite being in poverty, rather starved to death with the rest of the family and never thought of selling off her children. It was that simple, but just saying I'm lending a helping hand did not sound right either. Somehow it sounded arrogant. Oni-san, wait. The boy caught up with her, still with his sister in tow. Thank you both. The boy deeply bowed and his sister imitated her brother and bowed as well. This is what Otuo-san was selling. After searching in his clothes for a while, the boy pulled out a pinwheel. He seemed to want to give it to the two of them as a thank you gift. However, Aoi hesitated for a while, not knowing if she should accept it. Thinking of their family's situation, this thing was not just merely a pinwheel, it was something they could sell for money. However, just as Aoi was being indecisive, Kano took the pinwheel from the young boy's hand. She did not toss her coin, but the movement was extremely natural and without hesitation. Kano softly said thank you. After hearing those words, the boy smiled brightly. It was a heartfelt smile of joy. Just as Aoi was deeply moved by the scene, the boy grabbed his sister's hand again and thanked them continuously and quickly returned to his parents' side. Aoi remained where she was standing and looking at Kano, who was blowing at the pinwheel in her hand. The red pinwheel spun continuously. Why? Aoi asked. Why are you able to accept it so calmly? Why didn't you toss your coin? Kano stared at the spinning pinwheel for a while and shortly after she mumbled, because that was that child's greatest show of sincerity. If we don't take it, that child would be sad. Aoi stared at Kano with her eyes widened and mouth agape. She felt that the words were trapped in her heart to the point that she was getting flustered and could not say anything. At the same time, she was embarrassed at how hopelessly foolish she was. She thought that aiding others was an arrogant way of saying it, and in that moment of hesitation, did not know if she should accept the boy's gift. She must have sympathized with their life of poverty in her heart. However, if she did not accept the young boy's gift, her act would have completely become one of charity, and the boy did not want any charity. Because Kano understood that, which was why she accepted the gift without hesitation. In comparison, I'm just a hypocrite. As Aoi was wallowing in self-hatred while being depressed, Kano gestured asking her to hurry up. Aoi quietly followed behind Kano. Even though this road was not going to lead to the butterfly estate, it did not matter anymore. Following behind, Aoi walked for a while and a red patio umbrella appeared in front of her eyes. It's a tea house, Aoi thought while being stunned. Kano started looking around the tea house, seemingly looking for someone.